And we are back. Okay. So first pair, right, is gonna be GJ. GJ. First breakdown, right? First breakdown of this pair. Start up on the monthly. Now, just to break that down, based off the monthly, right? I would say we're still bullish, right? Still bullish, higher low, higher high, maintaining this level of support right here, maintaining this lower high. Um, so at this point in time, we're kind of coming up to this resistance level. Um, as of now, we still have about 2 days left, but as of now, we are rejecting this level pretty heavy. It doesn't mean we're gonna continue to the downside, right? It all really depends on how structure kind of tends to play out. But I mean, yeah, as of now, it's about being patient. I would love if this can actually just close as like a bearish candle doji, just to kind of show some type of resistance. Till then, yeah, we're just kind of waiting this out. But as of now, technically, I mean, not technically, on monthly, we're still bullish, right? We got this higher low, and then we got this higher high. Higher low, lower high, but overall still maintaining this. So even if we do tend to push down, I would first aim here, and then obviously this would be kind of TP2. This on the monthly is super big, super such a broad time frame, right? It can do so much more than that. So um, yeah, that's just kind of going based off that. I do kind of already see a little lower high point here. Um, so we're down to the weekly. We tend to see more structure, right? Now, so we got this higher low that we're mainly maintaining based off the monthly, right? Then we got this lower high. Yeah, and then we kind of just consolidated for a bit. Um, didn't really break this level of support right here. Still maintaining that bullish uptrend, right? And then we broke this lower high point here. Didn't break the main lower high point, but we still broke a lower high point. And now we're kind of coming up. This is why I'll still be bullish. And as you can see, I have my areas here marked off. So I'll still be looking for some type of higher low point. At this point in time, it's just now that's what I'm kind of expecting, right? It doesn't mean we might not get the higher low point. The From what I've been learning, from what I've learned, especially the last couple of days, is like structure isn't always going to play out. I mean, ideally, that's what we're kind of looking for, right? Is this higher low, higher high, and then some type of higher low, right? And then continue to the upside. That structure, right? But like once again, it could just kind of push down all the way down here. We can even get something like this and then kind of maintain that kind of downtrend based off this lower high point here. Um, so again, I've stopped trying to predict the market at this point in time. Once it kind of hits our key levels, even this support here is a key level for me. Um, if we do decide to counter trend, right, this is going to be a kind of like TP1, TP2, TP3 type of thing. But once again, I've stopped trying to predict the market and just kind of react off the market. At this point in time, we are starting to push down from this resistance level here. The support is minor support, but if we do end up breaking this here, we kind of start that counter trend, right? Taking the fib, just gonna add a little bit of confluence. All right, technically this level here lines up with that 38.2. This one right here kind of lines up with that golden zone. So very valid level. Why did I mark those off? Right, these levels right here. As you can see in the past, or coming to right here, once we hit the zone, we went up, right? Bullish, big push up. If we kind of drag this, I can dragging this a bit more. As you can see, when it came to this level, pushed up. And that's kind of it just for that one there. That's kind of like the most current one. It's just kind of these are here. This one has a bit more of a confluence, I would say, or more like areas hit. As you can see, when it hit here, pushed up, here, pushed up, here, had a big push, right? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, like 3. This one has 1, 2. So, yeah, like I said, it's just really about being patient, really understanding. Essentially the move, higher low, higher high. That's kind of what we're going with, right? And this is also very, very key because we're still bullish, right? As you can see, this is our main higher low point. This is what that kind of started this. Even just based off this here, technically we did break a 38.2, which is here, and from there we never really broke this level here. Right, because we got the 38.2 and then kind of broke up, yeah, and that becomes a higher high, higher low, higher high. So we're still within this kind of trend here. It's like a trend, right, within a trend within a trend. So this is kind of like the third trend that we're kind of in. This is kind of what happens when we get into this consolidation. So at this point in time, it's just about being patient, right? We just really, really got to be patient, understand our moves, understand when we have to be just more selective, right? One thing that I've been learning these last couple of days is just you're always gonna have moves, right? And essentially that's what we kind of hope is for structure to kind of play out textbook wise, right? Higher highs, higher lows, but it doesn't always happen like that. Sometimes structure is crazy. You might get a crazy wick. You might get a crazy pullback. You might be being patient for a pullback that may not really happen. You know what I mean? We might be expecting a higher low, but we might not even get that higher low point. You know what I mean? Or we might get it, but it might be consolidation, kind of like this, right? Boom, and then it kind of just consolidates, and then we can still push down, right? So it's just never just trying to predict the market, never trying to be so stuck on just one thing. If you start to see it, right, like I said, reacting to the market, that's when you take action. But and until then we just gotta be really, really patient. So that's off the weekly. Once again, still really, really high time frame. It's the weekly, so a lot of things can happen. So right now we're just solely focused on here. So what I'm kind of focused on here is trying to see some type of engulfing, right? If we can see some type of bearish engulfing here, it'll give me a lot more confident in kind of this kind of trend starting. If we do tend to take a trend, right, a bearish trend, this would be our first TP, right? But once again, something to remind me, or something that I just got to keep reminding myself is that's just the move, right? So even if we do get this move, we can still expect a pullback, right? Don't try to hold this pullback. That's something that I've had to learn the hard way these last couple of weeks, is always trying to predict the pullback, always trying to hold for this pullback, when you can simply just get in the move, get out, let it counter trend, let it retrace, and then get in. So it's still having the same bias, but just getting out, right? You don't have to hold this, you don't have to marry this, you don't have to just, there's no point in doing that, right? You just get in and you get out, get in, you get out. Still keeping the same bias, right? But that's kind of the main thing that I've had to learn the hard way these last couple of weeks. Yeah. So that's that. So like I just said, engulfing. So now that we come down here, right, what's possible for this engulfing? Can we see that engulfing happening? As of now, we still have. I mean, depending on this candle right here, but as of now, no, because we don't have a break, right? That's the main thing. So we have this higher low, we have this higher high, and then higher low. So we're still maintaining a support. If we can break a support level, then that engulfing will kind of be a bit more. And that's us just kind of getting in the move, right? That would be us getting in that engulfing, which is still the move. But even if we do get this move again, that's the weekly, right? So if we get this push, essentially based off the daily, H4 would have all these kind of lower high points come to form, come to be about. But that's something that we just really want to take in consideration, right? Um, Same thing, we don't have to hold those moves, right? Because if we're gonna get pullbacks based off the daily H4, like this, right? Something like this. Once again, we can get in and then we're out, get in here, get out, get in, and then still hold that whole move, right? There's no reason to hold a counter trend. It's so easy in hindsight to be like, oh, well, it retraced to this, we could have held. But that's the thing, right? Something that I've done, again, I'm going to say over and over and over again until I finally get in my head, is that we never know how far it can retrace, right? It can retrace 100%. It can break the 100%. It can go to 38.2, 61.8. Like, we don't know. This is why it's so important for us just to react off the market. And just be patient, being patient, waiting for these moves. As of now, it's still bullish, right? We're still maintaining this higher low, we still have the support. So until then, I can't even kind of aim for sells or even long-term sells. And even if we did, well, technically the sell's already out, right? The sell position would have been here at this lower high point, and at this point we would have been trying to catch it within this move here. So this is like the move already. So technically, if we're gonna even look for a sell, we would need another lower high point to then try to aim for a sell, whatever the case may be. So yeah, so how possible is even that lower high point? Because right now, if this were to maintain, technically we're still maintaining a support, so a buy would not be bad. But that all depends on obviously lower time frame. Right. So now we go down to the H4 time frame. As you can see, it's a lot more consolidating, still consolidating, but we kind of just focus on the current, right? We obviously have daily for candlestick analysis. And that's why right now we're at this kind of main support here. So if we go down, we kind of had analysis, point A to point B. Yeah, so this higher low point, this higher high point, we're still technically maintaining this like 100% based off this higher low point here. We still haven't broken this. So technically we're at 100% retracement off the H4, which is a support level based off like the daily here. Now with that being said, we have this lower high, we have this lower low. So it was kind of like consolidating within. Then we kind of broke here. Then we kind of have like this like engulfing to a certain extent. It's a really big engulfing. But as you can see, it's like a trend within a trend, right? And now we have this little trend here. So for us to even try to aim for down here, I would want to see a break. This is why I have this support here, this higher low point, overall big higher low point, still maintaining, right? So even us not even breaking that level there kind of goes to show off. And this is kind of what I was waiting for this whole time right here. Is this H4 candle, because it was pretty bearish, as you can see. So I wanted to wait for it to close, but if we're still closing bullish, we're still technically maintaining this bullish structure off the H4 time frame. So buys here are not bad, but one thing that we do want to keep in mind is that on M30 we did break that support. So technically, I thought I had this running on. Did I have M15? Damn, I did. All right, so thought I did, but this would be that lower high point here, based off the M30, right? Pretty much that, which is just kind of this H4 candle right here. This like variation. It's a variation. Lower high, lower low, right? So technically, we'd still be looking for that retracement, right? So this is kind of like the tricky part, is because M30 is bearish, right? We are bearish off the M30. H4 is still maintaining the support, but we're still technically bearish based off this lower high, this lower high. So we could still see some type of push up, maintain that, be a lower high point, and then still push down, right? So if we do take buys, right, taking buys would be very, very. I still think that we can. I still think that we can see a higher low point. Just looking off the essentially here, as you can see, once we kind of had a bullish move, we kind of had that retracement, right? So we got a bullish move and like a little higher low, and then we continue to push up. Same thing here. We kind of have a bullish move. Then we kind of have this pullback based on this. We can kind of a small little higher. It's more detailed on lower time frames because, but you can obviously see the I'm trying to say, right, is this higher low point here and then pushed up. So I'm still kind of expecting that same thing, right? We just got to see that bullish candle and then like a little higher low point and then take off, right? So that's pretty much that there. Once again, I don't think it would be ideal for us to hold this position based off the fact that M30 is bearish, right? Yeah, based off M30, that'd be bearish. So again, I think it's just catching the move, right? On like M30, M15, catching this retracement if we do. it looks like potentially we could be getting that push right now. And then just going from there, right? Exiting out somewhere right here, somewhere right here, some type of confluence area, and then getting out. There's no reason to hold that, and we can just continue to get into another position. Yeah, mainly just because again, we don't even have like a break off M30 to even hold that. As you guys can see, we just come out of confluence of all this. Technically, this would be a 38-point retrace all the way up here. So again, even if we do get a nice big bullish move, that would just technically be a retracement. You know what I mean? And then we would look for some type of higher low point, lower high, and then here we'd have to maintain this bullish structure here to try to aim for like that, like push. And then we'd still technically be bearish on M30, but essentially because we're still maintaining this higher low point here, we'd be expecting a big move. So yeah, so it's kind of hard, right? It's kind of hard. If this is a place where we would want to hold this, but it's not even there, right? At this point in time, I think it's just best for us to kind of get that consistency, and just kind of again just take profits, right? Learn how to take profits, learn how to catch the move, take profits, be patient, wait for that next higher low point, and then catch that, and then continue to flow with this kind of push here. Yeah, so same thing, right? But it's all about just kind of how we come to things, meaning like how we kind of came to this area here. A good example is like we came back up to this little resistance here, but we ended up breaking this lower high point. So this was kind of so even though when we rejected this, it's still technically just a pullback for us to kind of aim again back up here, right? But once again, like look at this pullback here. You don't ever want to try to predict this and hold this. Essentially catch the move, take profits, let this form. Once you see exhaustion, that'd be a reason for you to get in, right? So it's the same thing here, right? We kind of want to just see how this kind of forms. But once again, we wouldn't even have a break of resistance. We wouldn't have any of that there. So we would be really, really patient and try to wait for a higher low point of some sort. And then try to aim for up here. If we do take buys, right? And then just take profit there too. Like again, if we don't get our solid move, like I think this pair here, the reason why I picked this pair is because obviously it pays out good, but as well, I mean, look at all this consolidation, right? I mean, I didn't expect to be this consolidating, but I feel like seeing this now in hindsight, it's pretty obvious that we should just really be in and out when it comes to our moves. I think this consolidation is going to really teach us patience and understanding just not to be greedy, because I mean, I would hate to just kind of get stuck in all this. So yeah, that's basically based off the GJ. Yeah, so pretty much just being really, really patient. Yeah, like I said, buy here would not be bad, but just understanding our exits. This is an H4 move, so this would be like an H4 candle. So again, lower time frames to get better entries would be very, very key. But yeah, but once again, it's not about holding anything. Because at the end of it, this is still a pretty big bearish move. This could easily just be a little pullback and still kind of aim to the downside, right? So that's that. The next pair would be JU. JU is different. So we got this here, right? We got this main lower high point, lower low, higher low, higher high. So we're still kind of pretty bullish. We do have this potential big bearish engulfing here. Still got 2 days, but once again, it's off the monthly. Such a high time frame, right? But it's still good to kind of know like the overall volume, I guess, of this whole trend. And the same thing there, right? So we have the same thing. It's this bullish move here that we're still pretty much at. We're still very, very high here, very at the very top. So even like I said, we're still at a 23.6. What's kind of trying to push down. So this kind of, even if we break this support here, again, support, but it's a very, very minor support. One thing that I did mark off is we do have this kind of bullish engulfing here. So this could just easily be a pullback. Something to keep note of is the support has to be broken on the support. So again, it can fluctuate and do all at once here, and technically it would still be valid for the push up. But this is really being patient, right? So once again, weekly, very, very big move, right? So now we kind of go down here. And as you can see, this was that move there, that lower high. This lower high point here is essentially is why it's pushing so far, right? Lower high, and as you can see, it looks like we have a potential break of support. Once again, that support is seen on weekly, so we want to see it break on weekly. But it breaking on daily will obviously mean something too. But once again, it's the daily. We still have 13 hours. This can easily be a wick and then pull back, right? So essentially, for us, the only move here would be like a bullish move, even if we're just trying to look for a move. But essentially, the main move is already gone, right? It would have been at this lower high point somewhere up here, and as you can see, it's gone. So at this point in time, even if we try to get sales, if it does break the support, we'll wait for it to kind of pull back and then get in based off that there. Yeah. So it's about being patient based off that there. Wait for some type of pullback. H4, same thing, right? Lower high, lower low. And we did have this bullish candle here. And as you can see, it is completely tanked to the floor. So, I mean, as of now, it's looking like it's going to break this level of support here. Yeah, simply just going about that, which then will close like this, which then would be valid. And then because we broke like this would essentially just be one big push here. Boom, boom, boom. But essentially would be here to here. But understand that technically the only resistance is actually valid and seen is here up here. All right, so once again, it's just being patient. Being patient is the biggest thing that I've learned these last couple of days. And yeah, next pair would be UCAD. I don't have it marked up though, but these are the three pairs that we're going to be focused on. Like I said, our goal for the next couple of days, weeks, months, whatever it may be, is just taking as many entries, right? As many entries. I really want to just start learning. Like, just that's the best way I'm gonna learn, right? Is by experience. Right now, money doesn't matter, so I'll be entering based off like 0.3 lots, 0.5, super low, but still enough to make money and lose money, so I can still feel that, like that pressure of just it being negative or whatnot. Yeah, it's pretty much how I'm gonna learn right at this point. I feel like I've soaked up a lot of the course, and now I just gotta really put it in action. These last couple of weeks, I think I was just focused on making money and not really like learning and trying to perfect the skill. I was just so focused on the money, and the big moves and all this stuff, and it didn't really pay out for me. So at this point, it's just really just focusing on, like I said, the moves and just getting better, getting consistent. I'm solely just focused on just trying to catch every move as possible, and just understand, right? It's not really about being greedy. Like I said, there's not really big money being involved, so I'm not really making much, but I just want to understand every move, understand my exit points, understand when to hold things, not hold things. I feel like I understand everything now, but it's more about the patience part. It's more about not being greedy, so I kind of had to cut that out and just really just focus on my craft, right? This is kind of what it's all about. This is why I have three pairs, all in different sessions, so I can trade all of these and just really understand everything, right? Understand, and they're all different too, different structure, different everything. I try to pick pairs that aren't very similar, but as you can see, all different. And so this will help, right? So again, money is not the main priority right now because obviously, yeah, when it is, I tend to not do good and just solely focus on that. So now it's just really just focusing on all this right here. Yeah. So mainly just focus on that. Focus on taking moves that you do. One thing I do want to really focus on is being selective, right? Selective as possible. Take as many trades as possible, but always understanding the move, right? Understanding the move, understanding the position. But then learn how to be okay. What after taking all those positions, I need to understand. Okay, how can I be a lot more selective and what trades are bad, what trades are good, risk to reward, all that. So we'll be back tomorrow. Let's see if I can take any positions. As of now, it does not look like it. Based off, I might have something on here, DJ. If it does hold this position here, which it has a potential of a chance, right? But it won't be until I even get like a bullish candle to then even try to get something based off the M30, M15. As you can see, it's already starting to pull up a little bit, which is good. Quick little analysis. I think it's better seen based off M15. So we kind of have this. We kind of have this resistance here. We did kind of get this little lower high point break. Wasn't really the main break. Actually, hold on. We can go based up here. Yeah, it wasn't. Better seen here. I got that break. Boom, lower high point, boom. So yeah, this would be 100% pulled back. And again, so in times like this, something that we can really count on us it's going to reverse heavily would be engulfing, right? So if we're on this volume trying to hold this here, and engulfing, right, is what essentially would kind of make us get out. That obviously shows a lot of volume, a lot of power in that kind of area. So yeah, so let's focus on like if we're gonna take another. If we were to kind of get in here, our second entry would be essentially anywhere within here, right? This higher low point, and try to catch that next move. Yeah, but once again, we gotta see the higher low point, right? So essentially, here, us holding this, yeah, I wouldn't be really ideal, right? This would just be the move, something that I gotta understand and kind of just understand that I caught the move, I'm out. I can still keep that same bullish bias if we have reason, like maybe us kind of breaking this lower high point here and not looking for a higher low point, right? All makes sense. But again, it's not something for us to hold. Now, we are on the M15, so holding this isn't bad, but this is just also like thinking more broad and like say this was on H4, not something that we would want to hold, right? Get in, and then we're out. So now we'd be trying to look for another higher low point, keep seeing bias. So essentially push up, and then that push up there would essentially be a bullish candle here. Once again, on H4, unless it pushes all the way up here and goes here, different story, but it doesn't look like we will. So to essentially, our take profit would be really, really quick and just kind of anywhere here, any type of exhaustion, just kind of like a quick move and out because I do see us kind of pushing up, making a higher low point, and then if we do end up pushing up, it'd be based off that higher low point, right? Because in the downtrend, we're supposed to be getting lower lows, lower highs, and then push a higher low point would go against that. And we would obviously see that type of transition based off M30, right? But mainly, this is this H4 engulfing. So it would be nice if we can get at least an I think M15 better now. Like a M15 maybe better. Something like this, right? A 38.2. So we're already at that 38.2. Perfect. If we can get this break here, and then kind of if you can get kind of this, get that break, and then higher low to kind of continue on with that bullish candle, and it being engulfing. But once again, we would think that after that engulfing, we're going to retrace and we catch that move. Again, we can go on M30, M15. The minute we see a little break of support, we will know that, you know what, we can start that counter trend that we don't want to be a part of, and then go based off of that. So, yeah.